Good evening and welcome to the Effect Podcast's alien colony campaign called Alien the Colony. Today is episode 7, The Bear Trap. Recent events at Solovetski Island have been troubling. Kursk outpost suffered an outbreak of a terrible infection. Spores growing in the brains of the victim, leading to violent rage and murderous rampages. The outpost itself has been left, isolated and cut off, to avoid any further risk of infection to the colony. The assumption being that Yin Shifen, a maintenance worker presumably infected in the underwater caves a couple of weeks ago, was the source of the Kursk infection. The only crew to escape the outpost, Campbell, Delanoy, Graff, and a dipper pilot, James, have voluntarily gone into quarantine on the medical deck, all suffering from sharp headaches and blurred vision, a common complaint amongst the colonists lately. There are fears that the infection may already have spread more widely. Meanwhile, the team sent to investigate the seaweed in the Notscha Strait has returned with the body of Ming Yijun and the comatose form of Viktor Drubov, who is now in intensive care in the medical bay. Drubov and Yijun's trip was not authorized through normal channels, but the records show that Yin Shifen, now presumed dead at the Kursk outpost, booked their dipper out from the vehicle store. That dipper, damaged and drained of power as it was, has been retrieved and now sits on the sandy beach by the vehicle workshops in D Block. Initial analysis has shown that a transmission was sent from that dipper shortly before it and Drubov and Yijun all came to grief. The message was encrypted and sent on a tight coded channel. All in all, a pretty bad situation all round for Solovetski Island, a situation not helped by the meteorologists' predictions of a storm brewing to the northeast. And the fears that the tsunami waves that are currently hitting the More Kanonov will find their way down the Notscha Strait and directly towards the colony. If you can introduce yourself, please, gentlemen. Let's start with the commissar. Order of importance, of course.
Yeah, clearly. So I'm Commissar Tam Blatchman, in charge of security, basically at the station, and responsible for everyone in it and their well-being.
Okay, thank you. Inspector Shu.
That's me. I'm Matthew, but I'm playing Inspector Shu, loyal lieutenant of Commissar Tam Blatchman, and I do what little I can, humbly, in the service of the people's safety.
Let's stick with the last UPPR, Ivanovsky.
Yeah, I'm Dmitry Ivanovsky, EPP scientist, primarily a geologist by trade, but I like to keep my fingers in many scientific pies around the colony.
Cool, thank you. Paul, James Hutton.
I'm James Hutton. I am a surveyor for LaSalle Bionational. Don't hold with all this party rubbish, but that's their bag. I just want a quiet life. Don't seem to be getting one.
Thank you. And last but not least, Arlovsky. And you're muted, Will.
Arlovsky, your resident corporate stooge.
Yay.
Excellent, thank you. So what's going on right now? With more people showing symptoms, Solovetski Island has now gone into lockdown on the orders of the colony's supervisor, Svetlana Lykanova.
We couldn't possibly, understand a lockdown.
No parallels. The few commissars and all security staff, about 12 in total, have been placed on duty and are enforcing the lockdown. But that's particularly difficult in the communal living spaces of the mass housing in C Block. Those showing obvious symptoms are being isolated as best as possible. Some in medical, some in their rooms if they're lucky to have one, and even some in the cells in the Commissar's Center. All the scientists are allowed to break lockdown and are frantically at work trying to produce the right antifungal medicines in the labs. They seem to be effective, if only enough can be produced fast enough. And that might be a big if. If not, the whole colony might be facing the fate suffered by the poor souls at the Kursk outpost. Some, like the workers' steward Ivan Suvorov and his cronies Maria Renko and Dmitry Valesky, are claiming that this is an emergency that is beyond the capabilities of the colony and that you must activate the distress beacon for help. Even the LaSalle corporate director, Alison Senna, has been making similar noises, but not so publicly. But Lycanova is resisting. "We are the UPP and we can solve any problem," she cries. But there are bad reports coming in. There's unrest in C Block as people don't want to be locked into the dorms with anyone who's recently complained of having a headache. The minimum staffing is making it hard to maintain medical oversight of Drubov in intensive care and those in quarantine. The weather is worsening and the swell washing over the colony is getting bigger and bigger. And there's been an explosion outside D Block, and the damaged dipper that was placed there is now a wreckage engulfed in flames.
Okay, can I just ask, has anybody got anything else playing? Because one of us is picking up audio with a 2-second delay. Nope. Okay. I've got Twitch playing, but it's silent. And I don't think it's me.
I've got YouTube, but it's silent. I don't think it's me.
Okay. I'm going to unmute people now.
Okay, folks, that's what you find. That's your situation at the moment. The base is largely in lockdown. There are a few people out and about who are authorized to do so. There are reports of some trouble, and the dipper that was recovered from the Notscha Strait, from which there'd been that transmission, is on fire, has exploded.
Hold on. Where is it on fire?
So it is. Let me
the Notscha Strait still.
No, it was. If you listened to the introduction, Matthew.
Yeah, no,
then,
I'm sorry. I was concentrating on Twitch. Yeah. Tell me again. Not the whole thing, but
let's
the
start from the
pertinent fact
beginning.
about the location of this dipper.
So the dipper is outside D Block.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a moment. I will pull up the a map to help. Let's see if this is going to work this time. Let's. That's a good map, isn't it?
Yeah, it's dark outside. It's
Nice.
that oncoming storm.
Anyway, so you've got 4 blocks. 3 of them are underwater, A, B, and C. And D Block is up on the shore, and it's outside D Block, which is where the vehicle maintenance bays are. That's where it was left. It was retrieved by the skipper, the flying cargo tug, and it's outside there, awaiting repairs, but it has exploded.
So, Commissar, obviously, somebody wanted to destroy some sort of evidence.
Yeah, that sounds like sabotage.
Had anyone examined this dipper yet to try and retrieve the message that was sent in the transmission? So
the message has been effectively downloaded, but it's encrypted, so you can access that from the operations in D Block. And for some reason, I'm struggling to share any of my maps.
Are you full screen on any of those maps?
Possibly. Is that
Turn
gonna be
off
the problem?
full screen first, I find. And then
okay.
for some reason, it likes to see it as a window, not as full screen.
Okay, thank you for that.
And then, but then once you're showing it, you can turn it into full screen.
No, that hasn't made any
Haven't
difference.
solved the issue.
Okay. Yeah, carry on chatting amongst yourselves, guys. I'll try and fix this whilst you're talking about the situation.
Or do you want to email me the maps and I'll put them?
So I'm sure I can get them to work.
Well, Commissar, so obviously evidence has been destroyed. Dimitri, you asked a pertinent question there about whether any evidence had been gathered, but according to my records, he says, looking at the GM, I don't think anything has yet.
So as I said, the message was downloaded, and it's there to be analysed. It's available. Okay, I know what I've done wrong. The vehicle itself is now obviously in flames, but the actual content of its control panel was downloaded when it was returned.
So
you can access that
digital
encrypted
data, but no physical data.
Yeah,
is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Have we got fire crews putting out the bloody?
Yeah, has there been any response?
We don't want to set fire to D block as well.
Okay, so I'm now sharing.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see that? Okay.
Yep.
I see it.
Okay,
Now we
that's all
can't.
right, isn't it?
Oh no, it's gone dark.
Yeah, it's all right. Try that.
That's better.
Yeah. Okay, that's very strange how it's working. Okay, so this is basically you can see there what you've got in each block on each level of the block. The line through the middle, if you can see my cursor,
Is the transition between underwater and overground.
exactly, yeah. And
Can't see your cursor, but
okay, no worries. To the right-hand side of the D block, above where it says Solovetski Island Colony, that is an open bit of beach area, and that was where the dipper was left. Yeah.
And whereabouts are we at the moment, Dave?
I suspect you're probably in level 3 of D block itself, actually, because that is where or level 2 is, I think, where the Commissar's office is. Okay, let me.
So we had a front row seat to the explosion.
So can you still see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So here we go. Yeah. So this is level 3 of block D. And you can see the Commissar's office is in the middle where the cells are. Down here, you've got the stairs that go up and down. And in relation to you, are you able to see my cursor at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Yep. In relation to you, the dipper was outside over here where my cursor is.
so level 3, is this below water
How
level?
do you count the levels? Is it
No, so
third
one
floor?
is
we're
ground. Yeah. Level 3 is up the highest floor. 1 is ground floor. This block is entirely outside. It's entirely out of the sea. Pardon me.
So, can you just point back at the Commissar's office again
Yep.
and go up from there?
Yep.
Are these a bunch of cells with mad people in?
Yes. So one of them has got Ibeck in it still.
Mm-hmm.
So now Ibeck is waiting for the first supply ship to come in to take her away. That supply ship is actually overdue now. Another one has got Ludmila Arizan in it, who assaulted Graf in the caves when you were in there. And the rest of them are filled with isolating people. Yes.
Okay. When you say isolated, are these cells actually isolated, or is there transfer of spore possible between those cells? Have we just sentenced the 2 prisoners to a horrible death sentence?
No, so these cells are sealed units. The doors, it's not like Wild West, it's not like bars. There is a hatch in the door that you can open to look in, a bit like a modern police cell, pretty much.
Right.
The people in the cells are at the moment
Fine.
they don't see they just seem to have a bit of a headache, most of them.
Yeah. But I have seen some of the reports, particularly from Graf, about what went on at the other place. And I am concerned.
Yeah,
Yes, it's common knowledge now what happened at the other place that this seems to make people go into a murderous rage.
Very well. So, back to the matter in hand. Has anybody analysed the data yet?
No.
And what is the best skill for doing that?
That's probably going to be Comtech, I suspect.
I have
It's
some
not my area of
Comtech.
expertise.
I have some Comtech. I have some reasonably decent Comtech skill
Yeah,
Excellent.
Dimitri's usually
of
best at
8
that.
dice.
We lost Will for the moment.
Yeah,
Yes.
There's a message saying he's having trouble with his internet in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, so you could do that from... you could probably download that into the Commissar's office, actually, if you wanted to do it from there.
go for it. Yeah, you have my permission to do so. Yeah, I think it'd be exceptionally worthwhile to know what's going on.
It's a tough one. This message has been sent by someone who's got some skill in encryption, so it's at -2 dice for whoever is doing the Comtech roll.
Can anyone help Dimitri?
Absolutely,
I can help a little bit because I have.
Two people can help by kind of leaning over and helping him looking at the data.
Okay, so that basically cancels out the -2 from the difficulty of it. So I basically get my 8 dice of Comtech, yes?
8 dice. Okay, yes. Should have made it.
Comtech's one of my...
Made it harder.
He hasn't rolled yet.
I haven't rolled yet, although I have now, and I feel I've peaked already because I've got 4 successes. There.
Okay. 4 successes. Well, I think this is something that you maybe have seen before. And
Why have you seen it before?
You quite quickly recognise that this is actually a United Americas cipher that's been cunningly disguised not to look like that, but not cunningly enough. The message was very short. Basically, well, there was 2 parts to the message. There's a voice part which says, "Opportunities here are gold dust, and things are in readiness." And there's also a genetic sequence has been sent with it.
A genetic sequence.
Yep. I'm going to need another roll for someone to analyze that genetic sequence, but you identified what it is.
Dimitri, obviously, you have the science skill.
I mean, he's a
Oh
geologist.
no, none of us have a science skill.
It doesn't exist in Alien. Damn.
Fortunately, geology and biology are so closely
So I'm going to allow
intertwined
either
skills.
a medical aid or an observation.
Well, if I'm going for that, I'll go with observation because my observation is also quite good.
So I think that observation is the kind of skill of choice in Alien for science type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I can have a look at this genetic code then and compare it with stuff we've analysed from things on the planet and see if we can match it up with anything.
I mean, it could be just about anything.
Whilst you're doing this, you are getting messages coming into the Commissar's office from the ops room saying, "We've got maintenance asking for permission to break lockdown to go and deal with a fire."
Of course, we don't want this block going up.
Yes, allowed. We don't want it spreading or exploding or doing anything crazy.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
But once you've done it, straight back into lockdown.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's not gone quite as well. I've got 1 success, but I think I might push my roll to analyse the genetic stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So that hasn't helped. I have 1 success.
Okay. You can tell that it's a genetic sequence that has been sent in minimal detail. It seems to be kind of the absolute minimum information you would have to be able to code that sequence. But you can tell it's not a human genetic sequence.
Ah. That's curious.
Can I tell if it's for that 1 success? is it the sequence of something that's native to this planet?
One success is not enough to tell you that.
Okay.
We should just run it through CRISPR and see what it grows. Nothing possibly bad can happen. I'm not saying that.
How long does that take? How long have you got?
A
What's the
dramatically appropriate length of time for a full-grown predatory adult, I think you'll find.
Well, pop me on the labs then, and we'll have a xenomorph running around in 10 minutes.
Anyway, Commissar, it's station. Sorry?
What sort of biologists do we have on the station? Maybe we should get one of them to.
You do have all your scientists, with the exception of Ivanovsky, are in the labs desperately trying to mass produce antifungal medicines to try and deal with the outbreak.
What are your skills, Mr. Hutton?
I'm a surveyor. I mean, I've got good observation.
Now, I had some questions that are pertinent to this case. This message, we know it came from the hopper. Was it transmitted to the hopper, or who is the transmitter and who is the receiver? Is what I'm asking.
The message was transmitted from the Dipper on a tight beam
somewhere
up into orbit.
So this message works as an invitation for somebody in orbit, and for us, it works as a warning, Commissar.
How much range would a signal for the hopper actually get? Would it be able to be super long range and get back to like civilized space, or would it only be enough to like?
No, it's going to be very local.
It's going to be in orbit. I mean, if it gets back to civilized space.
Suggest we've got a UA ship in orbit around our planet.
Or someone up there is working.
A further message. Yes, we don't know whether there's a relay station. What do we have in terms of
that we know?
Planetary control? Is there something in orbit that is monitoring our security for us?
Not so much. You do have the remnants of the colony ship itself in orbit on autopilot. There are still some modules there that can be landed as the colony grows.
But they're landed remotely. There's nobody on board that ship apart from the sleeping colonists.
Yeah, exactly. And there's not many of them left now.
And they are in sort of lander modules, so they don't even wake up there. They drop through.
You probably would wake them up, but through normal measures, you'd probably wake them up, and they would then bring the modules down.
So, it may not be the right time to suggest this, Commissar, but I want to just table the suggestion that we wake up some of those colonists and they use whatever scanners are available to them on that ship to, while orbiting a couple of times before coming down, see if there are any other ships up there that we don't know about.
Do we have anything on the ground that could scan up into orbit and detect ships?
Not really, no. You do have some orbital satellites, but they are principally weather satellites.
Can they be repurposed?
Or UAE relay? Yeah.
Not from the ground, I don't think. No.
Who made them?
I mean, that's not a bad suggestion, Inspector.
Sorry, obviously, Commissar.
No,
I expect
they are
the decisions.
They are the best UPP weather satellites you can get.
Excellent.
Then they're completely repurposable.
Yes.
Cheap and cheerful, and you're never quite sure where they're going to land.
Now, you're outnumbered in this office, Mr. Hutton. I trust you'll keep a civil tongue.
That would be a first for Paul, wouldn't it?
Just stating the facts.
I mean,
so what about waking some people up, scientists up on Mothership, and getting our scientists down here to relay them some of the information, so at least they can analyze the information.
Possibly. They could monitor as well. And we must think of the safety of the people. If we cannot control this infection, then we need somebody who is effectively quarantined from it to monitor the situation and warn the rest of the Union of Progressive Peoples of what has happened here.
Yeah.
Remarkably, Mr. Hutton has had a very sensible and progressive idea.
Yeah, sorry, I think my internet keeps on dipping. I don't know whether...
That's no excuse for having good thoughts.
This is there's that damn cheap LaSalle internet, isn't it? Yeah, the LaSalle guy.
Yeah.
It's proves
You told me well enough,
superior.
Mr. Hutton.
Get the good old
Yeah.
EPP cable that's this thick and plug it in, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, we sublet the internet off of UPP.
So we ration it to you, basically.
Yeah, you like the
Really limit
crap
it.
dial-up version.
It's probably because everybody's in their rooms. They're now playing games online.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think. I mean, waking people up could be an option. I'm not sure it should be our first option, but we definitely want to find out what's going on up there.
I'm not saying it's a thing that we should take unilateral action on. I'm just suggesting that you may,
No, I
at
know.
some later stage, take that to the committee.
It is something that should be.
What concerns me more is, do we have any data on approaches made to the dipper out there? What's it called? I always
It's called a dipper.
It is called a dipper. I got it right
Yeah.
this time. Can we see anybody approaching the dipper on any external cameras or
I mean, hopefully a
recordings
fire
thereof?
crew.
Well, now we can see the fire crew. What I'm saying is, before it exploded, can we see anybody approaching?
Oh yeah, that's worthwhile to check.
There are no cameras that are working in that location. The base does not have a extensive internal and external CCTV system.
We should definitely get onto that when we've got the resources to spare. Surveillance is extremely important in the UPP.
Surveillance is the security of the people.
Yes,
It should have been our first priority all along.
I will bring this to the discussion next.
Not that I criticise you, Commissar.
meeting.
I know
No,
you
of
have
course.
a wealth of
I've wanted this all
responsibilities
along.
on your shoulders. Permission maybe to join the fire crew and see if I can see any physical evidence out there.
Yeah, once the fire is out, we should definitely search the.
We should
dipper.
definitely, yes, inspect it ourselves.
Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely.
Once it is safe to do so.
Yeah, it doesn't take them long to put the fire out. There was an explosion on board the thing, and it's been burning. So once they get the fire crew out there, it's out in 30 seconds or a minute.
While they're still out there, having put it out, can we ask whether they can see, without getting too close to the vehicle, whether they can see where what the explosion was, where in the vehicle it started?
Let me just. It looks like the seat of the explosion was probably in and around the power generator of the fuel tank.
Good place to sabotage.
Yeah, that's the place I'd go for if I wanted to make a dipper explode.
Can I have a look at that genetic code that Dimitri looked at and see if I can make head and the tail of it?
Yeah, I guess so. With observation roll. I mean, you're not a scientist, are you, Paul?
Probably more a geologist than a biologist.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you -2 dice on the roll
Oh, that's a straight witch roll for me then.
because I think whilst we don't have you probably wouldn't have points in a science skill if there was one. So I think that's only fair to give you a negative.
Yeah, it looks like a load of mumbo jumbo. No successes.
Okay.
It's an excellent assessment.
We should definitely give this to the
I, however,
boys downstairs when.
also have an observation skill.
You're not even a scientist of any sort, though, are you, Matt?
Forensics
He's an
is a science,
inspector.
and I have
Fair.
the investigator talent.
And what does the investigator talent do?
It allows me to ask questions based on the number of successes I
Successes
get on
you
an
get.
observation roll.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll let
I
you-
also have the analysis talent, which is kind of the scientific equivalent of that. So,
Yeah.
But I might as well give it. Oh, do you want us all to roll bloody observation? It doesn't feel quite in the spirit of Free League games. You can say no.
I think this is you all getting around and talking about it. I'm going to let you make the roll and use your talent, Matthew, if you want to.
Very well. So I'm rolling
You are-
5 dice. I'm assuming it's -2.
Yes, I think so.
The beauty of the UPP is we all apply our different skills and get results. I have 1 success, which means I can ask 1 question.
It's got to be a yes or no question, right?
No, it can be what happened here. Is there
That's
anything
definitely not a
hidden
yes or no
here?
question.
And if so, where? And
That's-
are there any
that's
details here
2
that are out of
questions.
place? Something that's out of the ordinary? Those are my choices of my questions.
I'm content to allow your question to be a bit broader than that because they are quite specific. As long
Very
as it's
well.
within,
Okay,
as long
so
as it's within the spirit of investigation, then that's fine.
it is a DNA sequence, right? This isn't my
that-
question. I'm just
Yes. Okay, move on, guys.
good question. Well done.
okay. So we've all done school biology. We all know what. I mean, we may not know what each of the individual codes are, but there's a double helix. There's that shape of human DNA, right? Or of all DNA,
Yeah.
of which some of which is human. Can I see anything out of the ordinary given my broad knowledge of DNA? So I'm not going to be able to say, oh, that code there, that's definitely the acid blood code. I know I'm not expecting that, but can I see anything out of the ordinary, like it's a triple helix or something else?
No, it doesn't look in any way manufactured or engineered, or there's nothing you can detect there that makes it look like it's anything other than entirely natural.
And it, to my relatively uninformed eye, it looks like DNA. It's not
Yeah.
massively alien.
No.
I'm not saying it isn't alien.
Well, let's hope it's not alien.
Right.
Yeah, it looks very similar to what you would expect DNA to look like.
But it's
Very
not
well.
human.
Hold
Not
on.
human.
Now, it strikes me that somebody has effectively got this data and stolen it from somewhere. So there is another copy of this data somewhere in our servers.
Or it was in the dipper.
Or it was in the dipper, yes. But if so, they will have discovered a thing and immediately analyzed it with whatever machinery the dipper had available, and then codified it and digitized it and put it in a file here.
That's very quick to do this.
I have a sneaking
I'm
suspicion they
presuming-
may have stolen the. I think we should check and see whether this file, unencrypted, matches any files that we've already got.
I think Ivanovsky, you've probably got access to the science databases if you wanted to do that.
Yep. Okay, that's a
I'm
good
not,
suggestion, Inspector.
I'm not going to make you make a roll. It is there. This is the sequence of the fungal spores that have been infecting people.
Ah.
Mm.
So what? Are they sending it back to the United Americas to make some sort of bioweapons? This sounds just like something a
LaSalle,
capitalist will do.
Mr. Hutton, are you aware of any imperative to collect this information and share it for commercial gain? I ask as a friend and colleague, not yet as a policeman.
Not from my perspective. Not from my perspective, but I'm not the only LaSalle employee here.
You're the only
Oh, I mean,
LaSalle
you are
employee in
here,
this
but-
room.
I'm the only one in the room, but I'm not the only one on the base.
Dave,
And
in that-
can I just point
Sorry.
out that the people that took the dipper were not LaSalle?
I am aware of that, and I'm aware of corruption being a thing that we must cut out like a cancer. The cause of the corruption, I'm prepared to leave for another day. What I'm concerned about are what are the cells that must be cut out of the operation, be they UPP or LaSalle, now, today.
Well, so far, Inspector, the cancer lies firmly in the UPP.
As I say, I worry about the cause of that corruption at another time. I agree with you, is what I'm saying.
As you're having this debate,
So,
you get a. Oh, go on, Connor. What did you have to
I
say?
was going to say, so in that scientific database stuff, ordinarily would entries have like the person who entered the data into there, and if so, does this one?
Well, it's got a number because most of the science team have been working on it to try and find a cure. So this is kind of in an open part of the database. This is part of the science database, and it's the information that they've been using to refine the cure, which they now think they've got. But it's just whether you can make enough of it quickly enough.
So would
Right.
we be assuming that, Inspector, that the person responsible for this could very well be in the science team downstairs working on this? And if so,
What's
do we
that
want
can't be ruled out, can it? But the people on this dipper. So the only one of those still alive is Viktor Drubov. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And what state is he in? Is he in a state to be questioned?
He's in a coma at the moment. So he was. Well, I mean, Inspector Shu was there. I'm not sure. I think some of the rest of you might have been as well. But he was, if you remember, found under the seaweed
Yeah.
and was drowning.
Well, yeah.
And you managed to extract him alive, but he hasn't recovered consciousness yet. Whereas Ming Yijun, who had been on the surface, you didn't know whether he was alive or dead then. You then dragged him under the water and took him under the water for 1 kilometer, and he was definitely dead at the end of that.
He wasn't in a compression suit,
He wasn't in a compression suit, no.
which is against procedure. He was entirely responsible for his own death.
Just
might
a
have been-
quick question.
Paul.
I'm not sure we've asked. When was this data packet sent?
Yes, there's a timeline here we need to get straight in everybody's heads.
So you found the dipper when you were out there, and actually you've only just got back. So this is only a day or two ago in the actual timeline of the scenarios. So the timeline was the message was sent probably 3 or 4 hours before you saw the dipper.
Very well, and so
2 days ago in game time, probably.
2 days ago,
Yeah.
the incident at the other colony base that we have read about, and that our colleague
Kursk outpost.
yeah, that was something that took place in the intervening 2 days.
That happened concurrently with you
With
going
us.
out to the Notscha. So
So-
those 2 episodes basically happened at the same time in parallel.
So hold on, now I'm getting somewhere here. Well, I'm not getting somewhere, but I need more help modeling.
Formulating a theory.
Is this dipper had a copy of the data which it transmitted to the north into orbit before any of us at this colony knew about this piece of data?
No,
The
because the
copy-
fungal spores were found in the cave, weren't they? Originally,
Right. Okay.
which is where it is suspected that Yin Shufen became infected with it, and then went to Kursk outpost and to spread that infection. So
But
these
what
fungal
I'm
spores
saying
would-
is somebody knew it was important before most of us.
possibly before we knew how hideously infectious it was.
Before we had the boys working on it.
Yes. So if there's a bit of a fungal spore that is an interesting mushroom, you're not necessarily going to send that vital piece. That's not going to be considered a vital enough piece of data to send to our enemies. If you know it's a zombifying spore that could potentially be turned into a weapon that not only turns enemy soldiers into raving madmen, but makes them potentially controllable, then that suddenly becomes a bit of data that our enemies would like to know about. Mr. Hutton?
Completely agree. Completely agree. And just to recap again, the dipper we found in the weeds came from this base. It didn't come from the other base where the infection
From
was.
Kursk.
Is that right?
No.
Didn't
Yeah,
come
that's
from
right.
Kursk.
No, it was booked out from the vehicle bay at Solovetski Island, and the records show that it was booked out by Yin Shufen, who was the one who ended up at Kursk. She wasn't on that dipper.
Something weird's going on here.
So she
What
booked it
is
out.
Yin Shufen's
Yeah.
profession?
She's a wildcatter, or wildcatter straight maintenance. So
she's not a biologist
no,
and not a mycobiologist or whatever the specialists are in fungus.
nope, not that you're aware of, anyway.
Can I posit another theory that the reason why this dipper went into that Sargasso area was not of any scientific interest or any wealth therein, but because there is where, locked in geostationary orbit above that part of the planet, is a spaceship, and you could do a tight beam communications that nobody else could see.
It's possible.
If only we had, I don't know, a planetary geologist to be able to pinpoint that place on an ordnance survey map and thereby work out where an orbiting spaceship might be locked in geosynchronous orbit.
Well, I guess
Or
there
would
are.
a surveyor be able to do that? They're good with
Not
maps.
sure what that's got
A
to do with
surveyor,
rocks.
a surveyor would be able to do that, but of course we know where we found that, so it's just a question of extrapolating the spatial coordinates and looking up. But what do we look with? What do we look up with?
I'm a policeman, not an astronomer.
Well,
Yeah, you don't really have orbital sensors from here. You have kind of radar and stuff for incoming vehicles, but
we're back to waking someone up on mothership, aren't we? And saying,
Or
hey,
are we able
whilst
to change?
Repurposing the satellites.
whilst you're talking all of this, Connor, you get a message comes through on your communicator, and it's from a security guard who's down in C block. Security guard Tanner, and he's sounding pretty worried. And he says, "Commissar, we've got a problem. We've got something happening in one of the dorms. People are screaming. What do you want us to do about it? The door's locked at the moment. We need help.
Let's put it up on screen. See who the residents might be.
Let me bring up the right map.
UPP brackets, are they important? Close brackets.
You may
Everyone on
infer
this
that from my
colony is
question,
important.
but it is not what I was implying.
So I'm showing the map now. If you can,
You may
see
imply that from my question. It's not what I was inferring.
Matt,
No,
you might
other
need
way
to-
around. Other way around. You're right first time.
I was right the first time. Yeah, I'm bringing it up.
Okay, so this is level 1 of C block. It's the mass housing area. So basically you've got these big dormitories which house anywhere from 30 to about 60 people. And it's this this dormitory here that Tanner is referring to.
Jeez.
And he says that, look, there are screams. People are banging on the doors, begging us to let them out. What do we do? And over the intercom, you can hear the muffled screams coming through the door to that. You can also hear shouts saying, "Open the door! Let them out! What are you doing? They're gonna let them out!" Tanner is beginning.
Can't let this. If this is the infection, we cannot let this out. Do you agree with me, Inspector?
Yes, I agree. We must be strict. Who is resident in those blocks?
Have you gone back inside? Are you still outside with the burning dipper?
I don't think we ever went out to the Burning Dipper, actually.
We talked about it, and then
We talked about
okay.
it, but then we had ideas.
The ideas are an inside thing.
Yes.
So all the best ideas happen.
Okay, that's fine. You can call up a list of the people who are in there. It's a range of menial staff. It's more maintenance. It's cleaning. It's cooks and the like. This is the lowest level of accommodation on the base. You do get class 2 and class 3 accommodation, which is better. But yeah, if you are a basic worker, you are in one of these dormitories.
Can I remind you that everyone is equal? It's just that some higher cadres need a little bit more space to work.
Some are more
It's not
equal than
better.
others.
It's a little bit more pertaining to their roles.
Thank you for correcting me. I'll remember that for next time.
Commissar, do your guys have any gas grenades or something? They can at least knock those poor people out.
No, I don't think you have that
Jesus.
kind of equipment. This isn't a military base. You've got a few pulse rifles between them, but not much else.
It's the UPP. You never know what they've got.
Oh yeah, it's a perfectly good question
Very
to
true,
ask.
but it's
a
not
question-
something we typically send staff out with.
Tanner comes back on and says, "I can't leave it like that. I'm gonna have to open the
Tanner,
door."
you cannot let them out.
On this amount, where the stairs are up, are they blocked off, or could people from in there get up the stairs there?
Sorry, what are you talking about, Tone?
So at the top and the bottom, there are stairs up.
Yep.
So could the people
The
who are in
bottom
this,
stairs cannot be blocked. The top may well. It's in a passageway with doors that can be locked.
but could the occupants at this level get up those stairs, even though the doors?
Well, they can definitely
doors.
get up
No,
the ones
so-
at the bottom.
So basically, if they're actually in their dormitories, the doors to the dormitories can be locked and have been locked from the outside by the guards, so they can't get out of those dormitories.
Okay, so they're locked in there in those bits.
Yeah. If they get out of there, then yes, they can get up and down the stairs without too much trouble. There are some blast bulkheads and breach bulkheads that can be closed if there is a breach in the hull, because obviously C block is underwater. But they're not routinely closed, no.
Tanner, if you open that door, you risk the security of this entire station.
Can you make a
That door
manipulation roll
stays
or a command roll, please, Connor?
I will make a manipulation.
At -2 because you're doing it over the communicator.
Okay.
But what's your character's clout? Because you are one of the command crew.
I don't know because I've not been here for any of the commandy stuff.
Didn't we roll that right at the start?
We probably did, but I haven't got it on my sheet anywhere.
Let me have a quick look. I don't know that I've got you on the sheet either. Okay, I had 6 sheets there, but it's obviously not on any of them. It will be on the back.
So clearly it's whatever I want it to be.
Your clout is 1, so you get a bonus die.
Okay.
So this is basically your standing in the base on the basis of how well you've done your job so far.
Yeah, so I've done a fairly okay job. Okay. I might push that.
Okay, take a point of stress.
Yeah, I have done so. Oh, I have done so now. Okay, that's 2 successes.
Okay, yeah, you think you've convinced him, and he comes back on, and he's sounding really shaken, and he says, "There's 30 people in there. You're ordering me to leave them all to die."
There are more lives saved by keeping them in there than you risk by letting them out. I
Okay,
don't like
sir,
it any more than you do, but this is a numbers game.
You can hear him starting to cry with all the enormity of this, but he says, "Okay, all right, sir.
He
Yes,
should be
sir.
relieved. Can we send somebody like
if there's someone else we can swap him out with.
There's a few of them in there. So most of the guards are actually in this area because this is where most of the people are going to be a problem. So there's probably another 6 guards in there.
Where's our veteran of the? Oh, he's already locked away, is he? Graf.
Graf is in quarantine because he is almost certainly infected.
In this level?
He's in B block. In the medical bay. Let's go. So that's B block level 3. B block, yeah. So he's going to be isolated in one of the in the quarantine area in the science lab here, on the 2nd level of B block.
Very well.
Going back to that block for a second, where do the stairs at the bottom lead to?
Oh, okay.
Stairs,
sorry. Let me share again. Yeah.
Because the stairs at the top right seem to lead to the passageway that brings them out to where we are. Isn't it?
So level 1. Okay, let me just pop back to. Okay, so this is the overview.
Right.
C block is the bottom left block here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That passageway you are seeing on that bigger map is this one here.
Right.
That runs from level 1 C block to level 1 B block, and you are in D block to the north.
Okay, and there's sealable doors between the blocks if necessary.
There are airlocks. Yeah.
Airlocks.
Commissar, is it worth sealing the doors between block C level 1 and block D where the science labs are? The last thing we want is people writing into where our scientists are valiantly trying to find a cure.
They're currently locked in their rooms. If we hear of any breakouts, then we can take security measures to stop it. But I don't think locking people in with other people right now, or more than necessary, is... I don't want to lock my staff in with them.
No, I was suggesting your staff pull out and
nuke the site from orbit?
Nuke the site? No. I was just thinking it might be useful to pull your staff out because of 2 reasons. One, even though you've given them very firm orders, they might be succumb to humanity and decide to open the doors and take that temptation away. And also, they're not doing a lot down there other than watching these poor people suffer.
Commissar, I just want to point out that Mr. Hutton is not part of the command chain here.
I understand that.
And Mr. Hutton, I want to point out that UPP training is tougher than humanity.
You did get a message over
suggestion.
You did get a message over the command channel, and it's Ivan Zuvarov, the workers steward, who has obviously been informed of what's going on. And he says on the channel, which is open to all the command team, which you obviously hear, Connor, this is getting out of control. We are leaving numbers of our citizens to die. We must send the distress signal. We must call for help.
who's going to help us? We're the
Well,
only
more
ones
to the point,
who can
how
fix
long would
this.
it take for help to arrive?
Exactly.
Help to arrive longer than it's going to be any use. Is there any,
It's not a reason not to call for help. There might be something nearby. There might be a ship passing that can help us and evacuate some of us.
There may be a ship passing that is, and now
Like
I'm
a
beginning to see the strength of the message. Zubarov, I think you can you send a message to him, Commissar, asking for his help here in the office. I have a sneaking suspicion that this whole thing is a plot to get the United Americas to help rescue the colony.
I completely agree with you, Inspector.
Yeah,
I
that's,
shall call him down at once.
Ask him
Yes.
gently. He is a fellow member of the leading council. I wouldn't want to upset him until
Yeah,
he's here.
Not sure you can order him anywhere unless he's.
No, I'm
you
not
know,
ordering
under-
him, but I'm gonna say, we've got a crisis going on, and I think we could benefit from your help. If you could come down here, we can discuss options together.
Yes, absolutely. But I want Lycanova and I want Senna to be considering sending the beacon. This is too important.
In the back of our minds, but we have.
And is this on a private channel or is this on the one that's going to the leadership team?
This is on the command team, so the command team can hear it.
Can you do it on a private channel and say hints that you might agree that we need to build a proper case to take to Ivanova? I just find sometimes the Americans call it diplomacy. Lying helps.
All I will say is that I think it is being considered, but there are significant security concerns that we first need to address, and so I would like to.
See, really, we need a treatment for this infection as soon as possible. Until then, we need to find a way to sedate anyone who might be infected. So if the reports are to be believed, people who get infected with this spore become mindlessly aggressive. And if that happens, if many people get into that kind of state, then there are going to be many serious injuries and deaths. So to buy our scientists time to come up with a treatment, ideally we need to find a way of sedating anyone who might be getting into that state. Do we not?
I mean, surely the problem with trying to sedate people in that state is you've got to get close to them to do so, which risks getting infected yourself.
Yeah, there's no way we can flood the dormitories with a gas of some kind to knock them out.
Well, they must have air being pumped in there because they're underwater.
There is obviously an environment being pumped around. You probably don't have, I don't know how many liquid
You need a lot.
tons of whatever drug it is you'd need to sedate them to be able to do that. You could cut the oxygen and that would knock everybody out.
Yeah, that's got other concerns that go along with that, though.
But basically, it's something you could do. You could do that and then restore the oxygen, I guess. So there's a way of trying to do that.
See, that's
If
not
we
a bad
limited
suggestion
the
from
oxygen
God.
to a level that is survivable, but it would make you very drowsy because of the lack of it. It
Yeah,
might
we don't
help.
need to keep it at a low level
calm
for long.
people.
If we lower it enough to knock people out, we can get in there, then sedate them, and then raise the oxygen level again, so nobody gets any permanent damage.
There's a lot of risks that go along with it.
Well, that is
There's
true, Commissar, but there's quite a lot of risk in just
around, though.
in leaving them as they are is also a big risk, isn't it? That many of them will die.
If we knock them out, we should probably leave them alone because anybody that goes down there is risking getting infected.
True, we could go in suits, hazard suits, compression suits.
It's a lot of places.
Because the trouble is, if you knock them out by
Yeah.
reducing the oxygen, then you can't do that for very long because you'll cause permanent brain damage quite soon by doing that.
Yeah, I'd rather
So my
not,
thought was
have
that
a
you do it
colony of.
just long enough to get in there, properly sedate them, and then you can raise the oxygen level again.
You need a high IQ to be a telephone sanitizer.
Fun fact: you can make chloroform from seaweed easily. Okay, well,
So,
pop out to the Notscha Strait, everyone. Get yourself some seaweed, rub it in somebody's
Shove
face.
it in the
Bingo, chloroform. I might not be allowing that, even with a
shove
very
it
good
in
roll.
the air filters.
is Andy
Alien
speaking from
or-
experience there in that comment?
Well, the thing is, I agree that our best bet
Uh.
is to let the scientists do their job, which is why I don't want to
We need to give them
go
time to
accusing
do their
anyone
job.
in the
then.
science team of potentially, trying to have some ploy to get the United Americas involved until after the crisis is dealt with. But it's difficult to know what the right option is.
Well, I think we can argue the crisis is of such an urgency that actually calling for help is not going to be much use, because by the time help arrives, the crisis will have passed one way or another. But I think we need to try and buy some time for our scientists to come up with a treatment for this infection.
I do agree, but I'm not sure that I agree on the going around and sedating people.
We
Not
can't
right
sedate
now.
people individually.
Exactly, it's going to take
No.
far too long. There's going
I
to be
agree
far
with
too much
you,
left to chance
Commissar.
and far too much of an infection risk.
Your plan is the most sensible one, Commissar. If we need to take such a
I have
plan,
a
at all.
plan.
Which plan? Did he
Of reducing the oxygen. That was your idea, wasn't
mean-
it?
Yes. I'm not sure how serious an idea it was at the time, but if everyone's going along with my mad schemes, then I mean it's definitely an option.
Well,
but
it's a way to knock them out. My concern of that is that, again, if we leave them in that with lowered oxygen levels for too long, it will.
Yeah, again, it wouldn't be for
cause-
too long, but I think, yeah, maybe if we do that, but we don't then go in and sedate them because hopefully they're unconscious anyway.
Well, they're unconscious anyway, and
Also,
the
we
longer
have
they go
got
with low oxygen,
our
then
men in there.
they'll
so-
be taking brain damage.
So, can we pull our units out of that floor, lock that floor down, and have them make sure nobody comes up the stairs?
Well, are we doing it just a
we
C
don't need
block, or are
them
we doing
listening
it in
to
the
the
other blocks as
screams
well?
and the pleading of the people.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be that much.
That's funny, Inspector. I said that earlier and you said it'd be fine.
But I said their training could cope with it. What I'm saying is an unnecessary thing to put them through. They're two very different things.
Okay,
You
I'm
are
putting up-
accusing them of being weak. I am merely saying let us not test them.
Okay, I'm sharing the map again.
We can use them elsewhere
is-
as well.
Because I'm
you wanna
assuming
bring the
C
map
deck
up,
isn't the
Matt?
only deck with
Ah.
habitation on board.
Only when I put Mr. Hutton down.
So, just so you know, this is level 1 of C block. Level 2, where the steps at the north and the south go to, is class 2 and class 3 accommodation. This is locked down as well at the moment, and people who live on this floor are in their rooms. That's basically the situation that you face on the upper level. So you could, in theory, you could lock it all up and guard the doorways
Yeah,
if you wanted
that,
to. But you do realise that over half of the population of the entire colony lives in this area.
and we're planning to starve them of oxygen. Are we the good guys here?
How much nap relief have we got? On the base?
You might have a total of 50 doses, maybe.
Oh,
Not
that's
sure
enough.
that would help people though.
You certainly don't have enough sedative to sedate everybody on the colony. Not for more than a few hours, anyway.
Yeah, I was just
I'm still
hatching up a
hesitant
plan of
to-
turning it into an aerosol and squirting it into that area, but that ain't going to work if we only got that much.
No, I'm still hesitant to drop their oxygen levels. It is quite inhumane.
Well,
But ripping each other apart isn't very humane either, Commissar.
no.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. At least by subduing them temporarily, it might help.
You get another message coming through, this time from the medical bay, saying, we need help. We need help. Someone's gone mad. He's gone mad. We need help here fast.
Okay, how much of the colony are we starving of oxygen today?
Everywhere
Is it just
outside this
everything
room.
but the block? Just everywhere except the place we are and the scientists are?
But that's
We
the
could
med
do
lab.
that.
They're in the med lab, aren't they?
No, they're
So
in the-
block B, level 2, is the medical deck. That is where the science labs are, where you're currently trying to manufacture your
Ah, fuck.
your
Yeah, don't
medicine.
want to knock them out.
Okay,
And you've had a report of something going badly wrong here. What are you doing?
okay. We relocate the people from guarding the blocks in C deck to B block to secure the situation. And then we're going to lower the oxygen in C deck for a short amount of time, as advised by someone that knows what they're doing. That's probably not me.
Okay, you'll need to go to. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you get a response. Yes, sir. We're heading to medical bay as we speak. Now, if you want to change the air quality, you will need to go to the engineering, which is on the deck below you, directly below you.
Down the floor.
You'll need somebody with heavy machinery in order to make the relevant changes.
It's not me.
I
Okay,
think you'll find that's one of my skills that's blank.
And one of James's,
Mine too.
right?
So,
Looks like it's me then.
how's your heavy machinery?
It's 5.
Okay, but we need someone to know how long to knock it out or put it low for, because I don't want to cause damage to people.
That's down to you, Dimitri.
Okay,
You're our
Tone.
scientist.
So Tone, make an observation roll
Observation.
to be able to accurately tell Paul what level.
Else
try
we
and-
might be killing half of the population. Yeah.
It's
You
fucking
should go
hard
down there
work
and do
doing a
that.
West Marches game, frankly. Yeah, Tone. So you made a roll.
I made a roll, and I've got 5 successes.
Jesus.
5.
So I think
Okay.
I've worked it out to the millisecond, more or less.
So I think that's pretty good. So Paul, I need a heavy machinery. You're not very familiar with all of this equipment, so that would bring you a negative. But I
Are
think
there not other
overall,
engineers around? that
they're all in
can-
lockdown. This is all on automation.
Oh, okay.
You can wait and go and try and find them if you want,
No,
and bring them out.
no time
Let
for
one of
that.
them out.
No.
Yeah, they're down on C deck. And C Go and find
Call them all up. Bring them all over here.
So Paul, I'm going to give you -2, but I'm going to give you +3 for Tony's excellent instructions on what levels to set. And you're doing this for what? Block C level 1 only? Is that right?
It's probably safe to also do it for level 2 because we don't know what the situation is up there. Although they're less crowded rooms, there could still be people there that are infected.
It's one
Is it only-
person per room there, isn't it?
It's a family. It's one family per room.
And
the- on the-
it
on the-
says-
on
are
the
they
level
the only
above
2
that.
floors in C deck that have residents or living quarters?
Yes. So the top level of C deck is like a communal area. There's a big hall. There's a small hall. As you
Obviously,
can
there
see,
should
there's a
be nothing
theatre.
going on over there.
There shouldn't be anybody up there right now.
Okay, so yeah. Levels 1 and 2, lower it for as long as you think it'll take for people to collapse and nothing more.
Of course, Commissar. Mass
Okay.
murder isn't one of my ambitions.
I wish
Nor
I had
mine.
darkness points. Go ahead, Paul. Make your roll.
So I'm just to clarify, I'm rolling this on a +1 net, aren't I?
Overall, yeah, absolutely.
Yep, I rolled 6 dice and I got no successes, so I'm going to push that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I got 1 success.
Right. Okay. You are successfully lowering the oxygen. I think with only 1 success, you're nervous that this is going to be very dangerous for the people who are suffering in those locations. You're not sure at all that you've done it right, even with Tony's very accurate guidance about the levels to bring the oxygen down to. You're so unfamiliar with the equipment. I think I'm going to give you a point of stress for that, Paul, on top of the one you get for rolling, because there are hundreds of lives potentially here riding upon your pull of a lever.
No, that's entirely fair. I'm a surveyor, not an engineer. It's not my.
Out of curiosity, how are you not in lockdown right now?
Yeah, what are you here?
because I was flying the ship that came back. If you recall,
Yes.
from the seaweed.
Okay. Just wanted to
So we
Well,
are.
make sure.
Why aren't you in lockdown? Because you weren't on that ship.
But I'm a commissar and I've got a job to do.
So Dimitri was on the ship with. Dimitri was with me.
Yes.
Commissar and Inspector Sue could be infected, Dimitri, and we don't know it.
I was with you
Oh, sorry.
On his day off.
I
Yeah.
forgot.
on my
I
day
forgot
off.
that.
Yeah.
I assure
Yeah.
you I'm as fit as an ox.
Maybe, Commissar, though, for safety's sake, I should disarm you.
Yeah. For safety's sake, we should deprive you of oxygen.
Dissension in the ranks of the UPP.
No. This isn't dissension. I'm just saying there have been times when you have pulled out your pistol in the midst of a discussion. If you are infected by a thing that makes you crazy, having a pistol may be a bad idea.
I am not going to be disarmed by you unless you think it is entirely necessary at the in the moment.
I
have my
worry,
permission to-
Commissar, that if you become a danger to the colony, I may have to shoot you. Whereas if I disarm you now, I wouldn't have to shoot you.
Well, he still might, if he went really mad and attacked people, wouldn't he?
Connor, can I get you to make a stamina roll, please? And send me the result on Discord.
Do I roll stress for this or not?
No, it's not. It's just a straight stamina roll.
Okay.
You can't push it. So send me on Discord the number of successes. Don't tell everybody.
Damn, we gave Dave an idea.
I always like it when I get ideas.
You vessel!
But no, I will not be
Shoot him
disarmed
now.
of my weapons unless you believe me to show signs of aggression or whatnot that you think beyond the usual, of course.
Okay. It's going to take a little while for the atmosphere to weed out the oxygen. It's probably going to take a good half an hour or more even.
I want a status update from the crew heading to medical.
Well, basically, we've probably switched the oxygen off, haven't we, and tried to build up the CO2 level, which would knock them out, and then we can turn the oxygen back on, and in 20 minutes they'll come back.
Yeah, I guess it's about it's about lowering the levels rather than just shutting off the. I don't think there's like one. So it's going to take about half an hour for that to take effect.
I've also had a thought that people are going to absolutely hate me for this move.
You saved their lives, Commissar, even though I'm not there.
And the lives of the colony, Commissar. You're doing the right thing.
Potentially, but
You're doing the right thing.
From their
it may
eyes.
be affected by us discovering that the fungus really thrives in low oxygen atmospheres. But
Don't get more ideas today.
Well, the atmosphere in that cave didn't have very much oxygen in it. That's a really good idea. I like that.
Maybe we
actually.
should have flooded it with oxygen.
I wish I'd thought that in advance.
Yeah, increase over the comms. Just say increase the oxygen level.
Yeah, double it quick.
Well, chaps, I'll see you in half an hour.
Connor, yes, you get a response. So the reply comes back. Yes, there was one of the medical staff started behaving erratically and violently. We shot her. She's dead. Whereas one other victim, we found that the man in intensive care is dead as well.
What do you mean he's
Was
dead?
that
How did he
Drubov?
die?
I don't know. We have to ask the medics, but yeah, he's dead. It's the only casualty other than the person who is infected.
Can we assume all the medics are now infected in the same way? Or are they all wearing protective PPE? Answer me, man.
Are you asking? I thought you were talking.
I
amongst
assume he was
yourselves.
tapped into the comms.
Um,
Also,
They are wearing protective equipment. They're
And do we have any?
I think everybody's infected, aren't they? I mean, this place is a disaster.
Well, I'm not. And neither's
Are you sure?
Mr. Hutton here or Comrade Ivanovsky.
or me. I assume. I hope.
Okay, I want Paul, Tony, and Matthew. All of you make a stamina roll and send me your outcome on Discord.
Oh,
I
I'm
just want to
spreading
point out
everyone.
that this is where my recent purchase comes in useful because I make my stamina roll because I'm stoic with wits instead of strength, and wits is my highest stat.
I'm going to allow that, although I do think there's a thing to be had here about this is a body reaction, not a stoic reaction.
I would argue that this is about me being clean and observing my rules. In this particular case, I'm the guy that washes his hands for 20 seconds, that stays socially distanced,
Wears a mask all the time and
smokes
All
quite.
that.
Well, I don't smoke quite a lot of the time, but
it's got a hole in
Anyway,
the mask for smoking. Of
am I
course.
sending it? Where am I sending this? In
Just
Discord.
send it to me on Discord. Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah. So the situation in medical is under control, but there is one of the medical staff is dead, and Viktor Drubov is dead.
Okay, I want the
Drubov's
remaining
dead. This is
medics to
interesting.
investigate
Drubov's dead,
Drubov.
and we don't know how he died. I want a list of anybody that may have visited Drubov.
and perhaps an
Drubov was in a
autopsy as
coma,
well.
though, wasn't he?
and-
Yes,
the-
but he was our
signing
witness to the crime that has taken place. Let us remember, UPP data has been sent to persons unknown. We should not let this mere crisis of
Persons
fungal
unknown,
infection get in
they-
the way of crime.
With a United
want-
America's encryption.
Do we
With
want
exactly.
Do we want an autopsy to
And
determine
now-
the cause of death?
Not only has the physical evidence been destroyed, but the last remaining witness and possibly perpetrator has been killed, silenced before he comes around.
How many people are in on this?
We need to know who did these acts.
And I want to know cause of death. Yeah, it's important. as well.
Before or after we die of fungal infection? Don't you think that's our top priority?
During.
We've got the scientists working on the fungal infection. I'm a policeman.
Go
There's
and
nothing
patrol
we
the
can do.
area.
Nothing we can do to speed up the process of the cure. So let's work on what we
No,
do
but
best.
This feels to me like some sort of bear trap. And it is the communist bear that is entrapped by the likes of you.
This does seem to
You can't
have
point at me. I'm in a different place.
capitalist gains written all over it.
It does. I'm just trying to find Dave's channel. Give me a moment.
Can I cut the air supply off to where they are as well, Dave?
Yes, you can with a dice roll, Paul. Or if you want to increase the oxygen supply and then have a match.
Did it make our brains work better?
It'll make somebody's brain work better, Commissar. One of your subordinates, probably.
Okay. Yeah, so what you're doing, you're still at the Commissar's office, aren't you? You haven't actually left there yet, other than Paul and Tony, I guess.
Yeah, we went to engineering to do the oxygen.
No, I'm the guy in charge. I direct people to do stuff. I don't do the stuff. Well, apart from all the times I do the stuff, but there are other times for this.
Thanks for that clarification, Connor. That helps.
So
There's
Dimitri,
a virus out there. I'm not going to risk myself. I'm far too important.
So Dimitri, tell me, is this the way UPP usually run things? This being my first collaboration with the UPP, he said over a private channel.
I mean, you're in person. You can just talk to him.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah,
next to
I'm
it.
just standing next to you.
I'm assuming I've got my suit on.
You could have suited up if you wanted to. There are compression suits around in.
Do you think
Easy
we would
reach.
have done? Do you think we would have done that, Tony, rather than just wander around in the open?
I'm not sure we would, given the urgency of it.
True.
We didn't say that we were going to, did we? So I suspect.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
No,
that's a fair.
I think probably can't go retrospectively go back and having done it.
Would have.
And Dave,
Yeah, don't
Sorry.
worry about
Go on.
Inspector Shoe. His bark is worse than his bite. Don't worry.
I'm waiting to see if he ever comes up with any actual results.
the insults. Dave, I want to obviously tell the other officers and whatnot not to go back into C deck as we're locking it down temporarily. Not
Okay.
further locking it down, like just don't enter because we're. I'll tell them exactly what we're doing. Actually, it's
Yeah.
probably worth them knowing. And I'll tell you when it's safe to go back.
Yeah. Okay. Suvorov has arrived in your office with his crony Waliska,
Okay.
and he's like, well, how does this actually help us? We can't cure them. You can't deny them oxygen for more than a few minutes, and they'll just come round as soon as you give them oxygen again. This is just pointless. We need more help. And Waleska with him is going, yes, we need more help. More help is absolutely necessary.
I agree. We do need representatives of the UPP to make sensible decisions. Now, please take a seat. Can we discuss this and come up with a case that is ironclad that we can present to the station commander? Relax. You're in a safe space.
He says, okay, that's fine. Waleska, tell Renko to go to operations and be ready to send the distress beacon at a moment's command. And Waleska goes to a panel and sends a message through.
Please sit down. If we send a distress beacon and we bring more people here to be infected by this fungus, what have we achieved?
We would have achieved nothing if we all die here and we don't make every effort we can to save everybody. And that includes
We are making every effort we can
calling
to
for
save
help.
everybody, but is it not safer for us all to die and to send a message that quarantines this world rather than bringing people down?
I'm a representative of the people here, of the workers here, and I don't want to consign all these hard-working men and women to an early death when we could have done more about it. And there
Are
might be
you
help.
saying that I have done any less than I can do for the workers? You
I'm
should
saying-
watch your mouth.
I think, Inspector Shue, you should watch your mouth when you're talking to one of the command team of this colony and your UPP superior.
There is still the rule of law in this place, and I represent the rule of law.
Commissioner Blatchman, please stand down Inspector Shue for his unreasonable attitude towards a commanding officer.
You are overly defensive. I'm ignoring Blatchman. You are overly defensive. I feel that you may be
I feel that I'm
in this case, and I
feel
think
that I'm
I should place you under arrest at this
You-
point in time.
Commissar Blatchman.
Commissar,
I've
let me
given you
place
an
this man
instruction.
under arrest. I have my cuffs ready.
We have no charges to put against him.
We do. We have the charge of sedition and working with the enemy. Where were you when that dipper out there exploded?
I was in my quarters, as was expected of all of us, for lockdown, monitoring
come
the
out-
situation
How were you monitoring the situation?
through the command channel, of course, like the rest of us, like the other commanders are doing.
Can we see evidence of that, Commissar?
I don't know.
Until we can find evidence of that, I think we should place this person in security for the security of the. We should place this person under arrest for the security of the colony.
I think your Inspector Commissioner has lost his mind, and I
We
suspect that
have
he is under.
evidence that there is a United Americas ship that certain members of this colony have been communicating with, waiting in geostationary orbit. I find it suspicious that somebody wants to put out a distress beacon when the United Americas are so close and ready to save us.
Well,
And
I'm not aware that the United Americas are, but I have a responsibility to the people here. And if we need to issue a distress beacon for help because everybody here is going to die, I think that's a reasonable behaviour. Put him away, Commissioner!
When
those deaths,
When
those
he
deaths
was-
will be heroes of the revolution.
He's striking
You are sorry,
He's hitting you.
is he?
Yeah.
Dave, can I just
Okay, let him hit me. Let him hit me.
When
Or rather, I will be defending myself, but I want him to strike first.
when
It's
Matt
hitting a
made
policeman.
when Matt made the claim about the United Americas ship in orbit, can I
Yeah.
have looked for a possible reaction in?
Make an observation roll. You can do that.
I got 2 successes.
For 2 successes, no, he looks completely perplexed by that accusation. No suggestion whatsoever.
You made a good manipulation roll.
of complicity.
Obviously.
Perhaps. Yeah.
You
However,
do
he
notice
is suddenly turning violent, Commissar.
You do
Some
notice
point-
some. You do notice something though that Waleski over by the door by the panel, his head did kind of turn when you said that. Okay, he's hit you, Matthew, with 2 successes.
Okay. So
that's
what are
gonna
my
be-
choices here? Can I take this blow and then place him under arrest for striking an officer?
hang on. I think if you want to try and stop it, you need to make an observation roll to see it coming. Otherwise, it's going to be a surprise.
No, I'm willing to take it.
Okay, so that's 2 points of damage then, Matt.
Okay, I'll take those 2 points of damage and say, you have struck an officer of the law in front of his superior officer. At a
There has
time
been
when people are
instructed-
getting violent because of a fungal infection, I think you should be immediately restrained. Or
Does
would you
anybody
like
else-
to argue and tell me how much more important than me you are in this communist society in which we all have equal rank? Comrade!
Well, you don't have equal rank, but anyway, does anybody
While
else want
this-
to do anything while this is happening?
While this argument is going on, I want to slowly and somewhat inconspicuously move closer to what's his face in the corner.
Waleski.
Yeah. And just I'll just keep an eye on him for now. But I don't yet want to strike. I don't think.
Yeah, Matthew, make a manipulation roll.
And
And Paul or Tony, if there's anything you want to do, just chip in, guys.
are these guys back?
Oh
I
no,
think
you're downstairs, aren't you? Yeah,
We're
you're
downstairs.
in the room. Probably would
We're
be
probably
heading back
downstairs
after.
laughing.
You can probably hear the shouting, actually.
Okay, I
It's
will
probably pretty loud.
be taking stress on this if I don't get a good result.
Yeah, okay.
And I get 1 and a bunch of black ones, but black ones are fine, aren't they? I can read
Yeah,
those.
that's right. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm taking a point of stress,
Okay.
and I get 2 successes and 1 panic roll with 3.
Okay. Yeah, you're obviously you're foaming
I'm
at the mouth a
shaking
little bit.
with anger.
Yeah.
Like you're
You
foaming in
see
the
it-
mouth.
You
Foaming
see
about.
it- Not quite, but like as you do if you get particularly angry. Suvorov, you can see the look in his face changes. He seems shocked at himself at what happened, and is suddenly. It's not the threats or anything. He's actually shocked with his own behaviour and what he's seen himself do. And he says, I apologise wholeheartedly, Inspector, but you shouldn't be throwing around accusations at anybody, whether they are a senior officer or not, of United America's conspiracies with no evidence.
We
I do
have
apologise.
evidence,
I should not.
but I
have struck you.
accept your apology. Now sit down and we
You
can
don't
talk
have
about
evidence
this.
that I'm
Come.
involved in some, which is what you were saying.
At the mention of the United Americas again, does what's his face perk up? Or
Make an observation roll.
I got 1 success.
He doesn't perk up, but you can see that he is holding the button on transmit. So whoever's at the other end of the intercom can hear what's happening.
Okay,
Kind of subtly.
I'm immediately going to subdue him.
I will carry on. I'm not realizing
Okay, so
this
just
conversation is happening.
Yeah.
And I will say, we know that somebody has made a transmission using a United American cipher, and in that transmission, data about the current situation was delivered to a particular point in geostationary orbit above this. Somebody is destroying evidence. That explosion out there was not accidental. I'm sure you will agree that UPP dippers don't suddenly explode for no reason at all.
Well,
You can understand my anger and desperation to get to the bottom of this. I apologize if you are totally innocent.
You can understand my desire to save the people of this colony. I think calling for help is the
Exactly,
best thing
but hitting me isn't the way to do it, is it?
I've apologised for that. Inspector.
And we invited you here to discuss making a plan of action. And I
Okay,
just
pause
wanted
there.
to...
Yeah, pause there. Dimitri and James, what are you guys doing? The oxygen is down at its
Getting the
level
popcorn
now.
out.
If we're at that point where the timing's right, we've obviously turned the oxygen up, perhaps not to 100%.
Yeah, so we'd have to stay in engineering because after a certain period, we are going to turn the oxygen back up again because we don't want to kill anyone or give anyone permanent damage from lack of oxygen. So I think we were probably still down.
Yeah.
Down in engineering.
So
Depends where the 30 minutes has elapsed.
With your 5 success, I think enough time has elapsed to get the oxygen down to the level. With your 5 successes, Tone, you know kind of exactly how long you can leave the oxygen at what level to have the desired effect. I think that's 5 successes doesn't happen very often, does it? So
No.
Not for you anyway. You must be cheating because you never roll 5 successes.
I rolled 4 successes earlier as well.
So Paul, if you're going to bring the oxygen back up again, you do realise between you that within half an hour or an hour, people start coming round.
Yeah, I think we have to do it though, don't we? Because
You're muted, Paul.
Yeah, just realised if they're out of action for an hour, it's better than them ripping each other apart for an hour.
for now. Yeah.
So
You can do
yeah,
the same
better
You
thing
than
may
in
be
an
able to
hour's
solve it
time.
in an hour. Not that I'm there.
Or just
You
every
wanna-
hour, just start gassing.
So make a heavy machinery roll then, please, Paul, to bring the oxygen back up again.
a one success again.
Okay. You're not confident with all of this. You are quite worried. I think it's less stressful bringing the oxygen back up than turning it off. So I'm not going to make you take another stress point. Okay, right, fine. So back to the Commissar's office.
After that's done, I think I'm
Yeah.
going to head up towards the science labs to find out how they're getting on with
Do you want me
Finding
to
a
come with you?
treatment.
Do you want me to come with you, or do you want me to go back to the commissar's office?
I don't mind. Well, we're both getting
I'll
back to the
have
commissar's. It sounds like there's some trouble going down there.
It doesn't
Don't
sound good up there, does it? Yeah,
Don't mind needs some help.
I'll head up to the commissar's office as well, or
Okay.
rather, in that case.
Okay, Blatchman, you were wanting to do something with Waleski.
I'm going to subdue him.
Physically.
Yes.
Okay. I think he will. He is going to get a resist to this because I think he's half expecting something.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the
but-
subdue talent, which gives me +2 dice when attempting
Yep.
to subdue or grapple. So let's dance, pretty boy. I'm not saying that before I do it. But
Okay.
I mean, that's an abysmal roll. So I might push it. This is a very high stress scenario. So
Yeah. There's been a lot of
Really?
shouting in the office. You're allowed to be a bit stressed.
I mean, it's,
I mean, it's not the same sort of stress that they were dealing with at the other colony, obviously, but
yeah.
I'm watching people murder each other. Yeah.
Okay, that's much better. That's 3 successes.
Okay, well, he got no successes, so you've completely got him in whatever kind of grapple you want.
I guess I'll take him to the floor. I'll knock the communicator out of his hand and whatnot,
So he was, yeah, that's fine. Yep.
and I'll basically say, "Don't you move."
And
Well, not
Suvorov
that
is
you
like,
can now.
what the hell? What are you doing?
I have
Aha.
reason to believe that this is in fact our traitor to the
a
UPP.
conspirator. Ah, always
Well,
a wise man, Mr. Blatchman. I turn to Suborov and I say, Commissar Blatchman recommended that we invite you here to the office to discuss this. I wanted to arrest you both, but he pointed out that given that we are actually in an election opposing each other for the role of a steward, that it wouldn't be seen as politically correct. So thank you, Commissar. But it looks like your plan has worked out, and we have found one of the conspirators. And thank God.
God.
Well, yes. Religion is the opiate to the masses, of course. What I mean is, thank Stalin, Lenin, and Marx. We have proved the innocent.
The Holy Trinity. Oh, yeah, I lost you there for the last 10 seconds of that, Matt. Your internet's going a bit. Say it again.
I was
part.
just saying. I was saying how grateful we were that we have proved the innocence of Suborov at the same time as catching one of the conspirators.
When you say that, Waleski is like, conspirator, what do you mean? I'm just doing what I'm told, and you jump on me. This is outrageous.
What do you know about the United Americas communication?
I know nothing about United Americas anything.
Don't lie to me, boy. I know your ploy.
Yeah, I guess you've got to kind of face down, his arm.
I mean, I didn't actually see what this chap has
No,
done that made
were
you
far
attack
too
him, but you.
heated to,
Yeah.
be paying too much attention.
So
I'd imagine.
it's all on you to say whatever you want to say. I must admit, well, I'll shut up.
Yeah. So okay, let's just pop to Tony. So Tony, you've gone up to medical, have you?
Yes.
Let me share the screen. What do you want to do when you're there?
Oh, well, I'm going to ask the scientists and medics there working on the fungal spores treatment whether they've got to, and if there's anything I can do to assist.
Yep. Okay. So you come down the grey mile, which is the long tube that runs from block D to block B that takes you underwater, and then up one of these stairs here brings you up into the med bay.
The map isn't up, by the way, in case you're expecting.
Oh, Matthew, I need the map up, mate. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so you can find the place is a bit of a mess. There's a dead body on the ground in the admissions area here. It's obviously been shot several times. There's a couple of guards still here. There are a few people who've been quarantined in this science lab, and then the main sort of production is in the science labs down here to try and produce it.
And whereabouts is Drubov? Intensive care at the top.
Drubov was in the middle of the intensive care rooms there.
Okay, first thing I'll go into the lab where the guys are working then and ask them any progress and anything I can help with.
So, well, we are making progress. We're managing to produce sort of 20 doses every couple of hours. I guess we could start finding a way of administering these to the people before it all goes horribly wrong.
Yeah,
But,
the sooner we can have something to administer, the better.
But we've been administering them to ourselves first. After what happened to Grandowski, she just started having a terrible headache, and then she started smashing stuff. You can see in the corner there's a desk that's all been smashed and turned over, and obviously the fight ran out into the corridor and up where she was killed in admissions.
And are you all feeling okay so far?
They all look pretty worried. They've all got several points of stress, you think. They have all administered themselves the cure and hope that it works. But otherwise, they're looking quite strung out.
How many doses have we got so far?
Got about 20 produced, and you're producing about 10 an hour at the moment.
Okay. Anyway, we can up the production rate.
Not without more facilities. No, there's nothing. There's nothing. We can't do any more here quickly. Could try giving half a dose, but then that might not have the desired effect.
Okay, well, back to it then. Keep up the work.
Yeah, they turn and they're all looking quite strung out. They've been working without a break for many hours, but seem to be doing their best. So the med ward is up here, and say Drubov is in the middle of the intensive care wards.
Okay, I'm going to go to a communicator and just call down to the commissar's office and just report what they just told me about the number of doses available and the current production rate.
Yep. Okay.
Probably a bit too busy right now to respond.
Okay, that's going to be a bit concerning. If I call down and nobody responds, I'm going to think, oh no, what's happening? I will go and then have a quick look at Drubov, see if I can see anything obvious.
Do you want to make a? Well, actually, as you're trying to go in there, the ward sister says, "Shouldn't you be in lockdown? We don't want any more people walking through here unauthorized."
Well, I'm working with the commissar on trying to resolve this whole situation. So I've been having dispensation for being in quarantine. Hopefully, it'll be resolved before before any more people get infected.
Okay. All right. Well. Don't get in the way like those other people did.
Those other people. Which other people?
Oh, we had that woman of Suvorov's, Renko, whatever her name. She was down here when all that trouble started, and Gradiovsky got killed.
And did she come in here into intensive care?
She was in the medical bay. Yeah, I don't know what she did here, but because the Gradiovsky thing kicked off. But you can look at Drubov if you want. He died at about the same time. I haven't had a chance to look at him. I've got other patients to care for. Can't be caring for the dead when there are alive people to try and help.
Fair enough. Carry on the good work. Then I will go and look at Drubov.
Okay, he's lying in his bed. He doesn't look disturbed or anything in particular, but he's obviously dead. He's still plugged into all his machines, but obviously there's
no obvious big knife wound in his front or anything.
There's no obvious big knife wounds. If you wanted to examine him, you could make a medical aid roll.
I will. Well, I will have a quick look. Yeah, my medical aid's not that great, really, but I will have a quick look just to see if there's anything I can spot. I get no successes, and I do panic.
Okay.
And my panic is 7.
Okay.
I'm short of 6 on my 1 stress.
Nervous twitch. Your stress level goes up by 1, Tane. Luckily, nobody else is near you, so they don't get it. You can't tell how he died, but you knew what his condition was like. He was stable. I think you conclude that it must have been something untoward or something. Maybe the infection has killed him internally or something, or maybe there's been foul play. You just don't know. But I think that's probably why your stress goes up, because of that realization.
Okay. Plus, I'm worried about the fact I didn't get any response from the commissar's office. So I'm then going to turn around and head back down towards the commissar's office by the quickest route.
Yep. Okay. Going back to back to Paul first. Is there anything you might want to do, Paul? You've put the oxygen back up. You're going back up to the commissar's office, are you?
Yeah, I went back up while Dimitri was going to the science lab, I went back to the commissar's office. So I'm walking to the commissar's office and look at the scene before me with some hesitancy, wondering why Inspector Shu is, why the commissar is sitting on one of the councillors of the higher ups of the colony. Did I miss something, gentlemen?
Just the usual.
The usual robust debate that a successful progressive democracy has. No, don't worry about it. We don't have rule by fiat like you do in your capitalist states.
No, I can see, Inspector, you've got quite a nice bruise coming up on your face.
We like to have robust discussions here, but Solovetski and I have a mutual understanding of the situation now.
Okay, I've put the map back up again, guys. If you want to put the map up for us,
yeah.
Just to zoom in on where you are. So you're in the commissar's office, and obviously there's the cells. Okay, yeah. So Suvorov is shocked at what's happened here. And shocked at what you've done to Majewski. No, Majewski. Waleski. I get it. Fucking Russian
Commissar,
name.
I'm sure
Polish.
You'll be able to eagerly explain what clues did you spot that showed you that the suspect has some questioning to face?
At the slightest mention of the United Americas, this treasonous git showed clear signs of guilt in his demeanor that I am sure means he knows more than he's letting on. or knows more about the situation than he could be telling. You know, we're trained to spot this in people's reactions to our interrogations and conversations and
Waleski's denying it. He's there like, no, what are you doing? I don't know what you saw, but I mean, this is a frightening time. We might all be dead in a few hours. I mean, this isn't fair. I've done nothing wrong.
We'll be the judge of that.
So obviously we need to make a proper investigation of this person's quarters, but you have to see that there has been sabotage, and our colleague here, clever scientist, is Dimitri back yet, or is he still downstairs?
No, he's not. He's not back yet. It'll be a few minutes yet.
But if I could turn to you.
I guess you probably had the conversation with him. I think, Tony, you probably do get through to them on the comm, so you can give them the information that you got.
After we've had our scuffle.
What I'm looking for is a third party, as it were, to explain that this UPP cipher was used on
cipher.
Sorry, yes, the U. If it was a UPP cipher, it'd be perfectly acceptable. No, the United Americas.
It would be acceptable to send to the United Americas.
Cipher was used. So I'm looking to you, Paul, and I say you all back me up on what Dimitri found about when he analysed the data from the sabotaged shuttle Dipper, which was obviously set on fire to destroy exactly this evidence.
I would be more than happy to corroborate that, Inspector. Yes, not that I understood the full ramifications of what was included because I failed the role, but certainly yes, Dimitri found some heavily encrypted message, and he said that there was some DNA evidence in it or signatures in it. So yes, definitely.
I mean, it is what's important is not what was actually contained in the message, but the fact that the message was United America's
encryption.
Yes. And was transmitted.
Which clearly is a massive security issue for what's going on.
By tight beam communication into orbit. So I don't know what vessel is there, but I know the United America's vessel is there. Can you tell me, was it your idea or was it that of this fellow here that we should call for help? I mean, I share care for the people as you do, obviously. But if you think back on it.
I support. Are you talking to Suvorov?
Suvorov, yes.
Suvorov says, Waleski and Renko have both said it's a good idea. But it's my own opinion.
It was their suggestion that you agreed with.
They brought it up first.
I guess Renko probably mentioned it first. Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying that you're easily swayed by your subordinates. God forbid that I would ever try such a thing on Commissar Blatchman. but no, I think that is something that's interesting. Renko where is he? He's currently
Maria
Button,
Am I back there yet?
Probably just about, yeah. So basically Renko didn't come in with Suvorov. So Suvorov only came in with Waleski.
Renko's on the button, or they're ready on the comms, or was that someone else?
No, that was Waleski. So he
when I
was
came back in, I say, what's been happening? And he didn't answer the comms.
Just the usual arguments, interrogations.
So two things to report, Commissar. One, a medical team have currently have 20 doses of potential cure for this infection ready to go. They're producing about 10 more an hour, but the team are, been working many hours without sleep. They're out on their feet, so I'm not sure how many doses that they are going to be able to get out. So we might need to target the worst infected people to treat.
I mean, clearly the responsibility should be to make sure the command team is in order first. Get the doses to them.
Well, presumably we should get the doses to those who are already clearly infected.
What about the poor telephone sanitisers?
Second
second
class,
thing-
of course.
You
Sorry, Terry,
need
go
your
on.
phones. You need your phone sanitised, otherwise the fungal infection will get you.
I think this may be time to get them out of stasis. I agree, but
Commissar, Inspector, if possibly a slightly more delicate matter, if I can kind of
I will.
just
Someone sit on this guy for me.
gesture to Commissar and Inspector
Of
Shu
course.
to come over and or step
oh,
outside.
sorry, I can't. Okay. Can I cuff Majetski? Who is it on the floor?
Waleski.
Waleski. Can I cuff Waleski?
I think you can. He's entirely subdued. So yes, if you want to cuff him, you can cuff him.
Okay, I'll cuff him so that we can then have a private conversation with Ivanovsky.
While I was there, I had a look at Drubov. Couldn't see the very quick examination I was able to do. I couldn't see immediately the cause of death. However, some of the medical staff up there did say that in the confusion, during which at some point Drubov died, Renko was seen hanging around there for no particularly good reason.
Renko, who should have been at her station.
Indeed.
So that seems to be somewhat suspicious to me.
Very suspicious. Yes.
Indeed, it does.
Well, this is perhaps damning evidence after all.
Well, first of all, we need to gather evidence
Yeah,
on the
it's
body
somewhat
to see what Renko
circumstantial.
did.
She happened
I
to be
could
there.
maybe inspect the.
Yeah, but why
Has anybody been to Drubov apart from you?
Don't
Has
know.
anything changed there?
Not as far as I'm aware, but like I said, I only had a very quick.
It may be that I need to investigate the scene of the crime, if that is indeed a murder, and see if I can gather actual hard evidence. But it could also be a useful idea, Commissar, if you were to question the other two back in the office about where Renkov was meant to be.
Yes, I think this is wise. I will also.
If you can fool them into actually saying that he was not meant to be in the medical bay, and then and then you can reveal that she was, that maybe everything that Subov needs to be convinced.
I agree. I want to, over the comms, get a couple of guys that I guess are just waiting around to be told to go back to C block or something to guard the body of.
Tell them not to touch anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not to go in and guard it, but watch the door. Don't let it.
Everybody thinks they're a bloody detective now, but I'm the only one here.
There are a couple of guards in medical who've decided on their own initiative to stay there, considering what happened with Grandiosky.
We probably also, in conjunction with this, need to come up with a plan of who we're going to administer the first doses of the cure to, and how we're going to do that.
We'll work on that second, but we've got to, we can't have treasonous dealings happening.
Sivarov says, "I'm still not convinced that sending the distress beacon is a bad idea. We are in a lot of trouble here. A lot of people are going to die."
Neither are we, but we need to be sure who we're sending it to. Give us half an hour.
A cure in development.
These two
now.
heroes, and I point to Dimitri and James, have given us a little bit of time Now, if the scientists can complete the creation of the cure and we can complete this investigation, we may not need to call anybody, but that was always an option. Just give us this time.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. I'll pointedly rub my cheek and put my unlit cigarette back in my mouth. And then I'm going to go off to investigate.
Right, yes,
the
you.
measurement.
I was going to say to do exactly that.
You want to go and
You're
investigate
ahead of me,
Drubov?
of course.
Of course you are. We are of such a one mind, Commander Blatchman, that
Yeah.
I anticipated your orders.
Perfect. And yes, then I will go back into the room, or go back to the rest of them, or come out of the corner, or wherever we were
Yeah.
talking, and talk to Suvorov about what's her face.
Renko.
Sorry, I'm so
Renko.
bad with names.
Yeah, we will. Renko's one you should be able to.
Renko.
I deliberately chose it because I thought it was easier to remember.
I mean, I barely remember the parties' names. I wouldn't remember
that's
them if
true.
they were on the
That's
screen.
true.
So yeah, I want to
well-
inquire as to where Renko was at the time of the the outbreak or the what's happened? When did it happen?
When did what happen?
Good
Quite a lot's
question.
happened. Which
Specific.
incident?
So you're looking for the movements of Renko, where Renko was meant to be on station, and without mentioning the medical bay, you want to get them to say effectively that they weren't meant to be at the medical bay at the time that that woman went mad and Drubov was killed.
Okay, so that was like
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes ago or something.
Yeah.
So Suvorov says that she was attending me in my quarters with Waleski here when we got your invitation to come down here. She then begged leave to just return to her quarters briefly, and then come back here and see us. Since then, obviously, I gave her
Come
instructions
back to here to meet up with you,
Yeah.
or to go.
Yes, no, come back to here
Back
to
to-
meet up with me. But then since then, we gave her instructions to go straight to the Comsen.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Which is where you would send the distress beacon from.
yeah. So she'd have no reason to be, around medical, for example.
Sorry. Can I quickly interject? Overhearing this, I want to go to Comsen, please. I'm just going to leave
Just
the room
speak out.
and go to Comsen
Okay.
because there's nothing to stop
I
her
don't think
pushing the button.
Yeah.
I'm just going to bring up the map so you can see where the Comsen is in relation to where you are. Okay, Matthew, if you could post that up for me.
Nothing there yet. Oh, there it comes.
Sorry, Connor. I just want to leave you
No,
while you're
it's
having that
completely
conversation.
fine. It is a
Yeah,
So
so
we'll
perfect move in this.
the commissar's offices are here where you are having a conversation with Suvorov. The Comsen is up by operations, so you need to come out and then just walk around the corridor into operations, then into the Comsen. They are all at the moment on minimum staffing, so there's only a couple of people covering operations, Comsen, and planetary monitoring.
Okay.
And one of those people is Renko, or Renko is there with the proper staff.
There are two operations officers, and Renko is there as well. The doors between planetary monitoring and Comsen, they're all wide open. And at the moment, she's in the Comsen, just waiting.
Okay, Connor, do you want to continue? When I get there, Dave,
Yeah.
let me know.
So yeah, she should have no reason, for
30
example,
seconds to get there.
to be lurking around medical, for example.
Well, no, not that I'm aware of. I mean, perhaps she's not feeling very well. She might have gone to get some medicine, but no, not for me. There's no reason for her to go there. No.
it's curious because around the time when
Dubrov.
someone very important, Suvorov,
Dubrov.
Dubrov.
was
Drubov.
Drubov, completely
We need
different
it.
person.
We need a little sidebar on here or something that I can just print up the names for you.
Yeah.
I
could get an overlay, that's it.
Who's who though, but sure.
I'm putting it in the chat, guys.
Where Drubov was very unfortunately found dead moments after she was spotted lurking nearby. Drubov was a vital source of potential information.
What
Who
this
died
this,
under
this,
mysterious
this,
circumstances.
this complete coincidence is supposed to say something, is it?
Well, I think it's quite telling that during a lockdown, when you shouldn't be anywhere you're not meant to be right now, that of all places would be the place she'd be. You know what? Why did she give a reason why she had to go back to her quarters? Allegedly.
No, she just said she wanted to go back there for a brief moment. Didn't explain why. No. So what's your accusation here against Renko that she did something heinous?
Well, as we've said, there's this communication, United America's communication that's been happening, which is a significant security concern for us here in the UPP and on this station. We can't be having anyone.
And Drubov is implicated in this, is he? Or was he, if he's now dead?
Perhaps had information on who was or what was going on clearer. Whether they were involved or not, I don't know right now.
He was a vital witness.
Make a manipulation
Yes.
roll at +2, Connor.
A vital witness, indeed. Manipulation, yeah.
Yeah, you can have +2 dice.
Oh, perfect. No, I've got 2 stress. Okay, that is 3 successes.
Suvorov's been listening, and he's sort of nodding, and he says, "Well,
I'm not implicating you in any way, but
it is coincidental that she might well have been there for other reasons, or maybe it's a mistake. It wasn't her at all. But I accept that there's definitely a mystery here that we need to unravel.
definitely something worth investigating before
I agree.
trusting her blindly in
Paul,
without knowing all her motives.
You've reached the operations room.
Yes, I'm going to go up to Comrade Renko and say, Comrade Renko.
As you walk in, she does. Can you make a just make a manipulation roll for me, please, Paul?
No successes. I'm pushing it.
Okay, yeah.
2 successes.
Okay, she's obviously surprised to see you, and is a bit suspicious, but you got more successes than she did, so she's not immediately
Attacking you.
doing anything else. So I was on the wrong map. I was just trying to zoom this in a little bit to make. But yeah, so she's in ComSem. Yeah, so you can approach her. Yeah.
Yeah,
You do notice she's sitting very close to the distress beacon controls.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Comrade Suvorov. Comrade Renko. Comrade Suvorov has asked me to come and get you immediately. He'd like to talk to you in the office on a matter of great urgency, he said. And he was quite insistent that you came with me immediately.
Well, he ordered me to come here, so he can get me on the communicator, surely.
he's busy at the moment. That's why he asked me to come immediately. I'm not going to question his orders. He's the head of the colony.
Can you make another manipulation roll, please, Paul?
You are a hero of the revolution, Paul. I just want to point that out.
One success. I'm pushing that again.
UPP
Okay.
commendation.
Keep taking the stress.
No more successes. One success.
Okay. She's looking quite dubious, and she was sat on a chair. She sort of gets to her feet. Make an observation roll, please.
2 successes.
Okay. She's about to go for that button.
Close combat.
Hero of the revolution.
I think we get an opposed fight here, and then we draw initiatives.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul. Close combat. Where are we? Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'll throw a handful of seaweed at her. Did you draw initiative, Dave? Sorry.
No, I think we're getting one round
You're
of
getting one
opposed
attack.
combat.
And then initiatives.
So basically, she sees you're going for her. You know that she's going for the button. You get one round of opposed combat, and then it's initiatives.
Oh crap! Oh, that's bad. I only got 4 successes.
Oh,
Okay. Well, she got 3. So what are you? So you're trying to grab her with that, are you? Or
I'm certainly I'm body checking her, grabbing her away from that button.
okay, so you're delivering a point of damage to her and pushing her away from the button, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, where are we? Okay, now we draw initiative. So your initiative, Paul, is... Oh, you lucky bastard.
Hey.
Hers is 7. Okay, Paul, you get to act first.
Is anyone else in that room with them?
So there are two guards in operations, but they won't be... They've just heard a scuffle so far. There'll be a couple of rounds before they can do anything. It's your action, Paul.
Yeah, I'm wondering, can I legitimately clump a woman?
Well, you already have. You've done one point of damage to her already.
Okay, I don't have
Too late to worry about that now.
Yeah, I don't have any skills like subdue or anything, so I'm just going to hit her again.
I don't think we're gonna.
I think she's going to use her fast action to try and block that.
Yeah, she can.
She will try.
Okay.
I didn't get any successes, and I am going to push it.
Okay.
I got 2 successes on the push.
Okay, well, she got 3. So she's basically blocked your blow.
Damn, what a waste of a stress point.
With her fast action, she's making a dive for the
Didn't
controls.
she just use her fast action?
With her slow action, sorry, her second action. But you've still got a fast action if you want to try and oppose that, Paul. I think I'll let you do that.
Intercept.
I do want to oppose that. Is that straight agility or close combat again?
No, actually, no. Sorry, she's going to just punch you. But you can try and dodge that with your fast action.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll do a close combat.
Yeah, close combat roll. She got 3 successes.
Gee, she's a good fighter.
I got 1.
Okay, so that's 2 points of damage, Paul. You take from that.
Okay. I'm fine. Come on, bitch.
Okay, next round, it's your action, Paul.
Oh, I'm going to twat her again.
Okay.
2 successes.
The guards in operations are now kind of seeing what's going on. Okay, she will... I think she'll... No, she'll... No, she will try and block that, actually. Okay, she takes 1 point of damage from that punch. And she shouts, "Guards! Guards! He's gone mad! He's infected!"
That's a fast action, though, isn't it?
Yeah, she's manipulating the guards to try and get.
Oh, slow
Hold
action.
on.
Okay.
No, but no, she had a fast action blocking,
Yeah, so her
and she
slow
had
action.
a slow action punching. So she's got no actions until
No,
he
that
hits
was the last round because he's
Oh,
on
yeah, that
ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
She's on sevens. So she used the fast action to block, but only block one, and she's using a slow action to call for help.
Grapple, Paul.
The guards seem to take that, and they are on 10, so you're even more useless. But they're approaching this round, and they look like they're coming towards you, Paul, to help her. It's your action on ones, Paul.
Not a lot I can do about that. I've just got to.
There are communications things around the walls here.
Restrain her. Or
Communicate. Yeah.
Oh.
Would to try and use a communications thing, that would be a slow action, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That would be pretty much your action. Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to punch the nearest communication button to the office and say, you need to get in here. You need to get into Comsen now. Renko's trying to
gone
hit
mad.
me.
Okay,
Gone
that's probably as far. You probably get to Renko's when she hits you again. She gets one success, so you take 1 point of damage from her hit, Paul.
Can I get a chance to block on me fast action?
Does still have a fast action, doesn't it?
Yeah,
He
can.
does. Yeah.
Press the
Okay.
button.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
And I completely failed to get anything on 10 dice.
Jeez.
Are you pushing?
Oh no, I'm not. My stress level's 5 at the moment.
Okay, so you take another point of damage. Then she's cuffed you on the head.
You capitalists really need to chill.
Okay.
Okay, guys. You've heard that in the commissar's office.
Okay, I want to.
I'm down in the medical. Can I do my investigation?
Let's just finish this fight first, Matt. Connor, you're there. If you want to go, you're on 2s.
Yeah.
And Tony, you're there. You're on 4s. And it's so yeah, Paul. It's the next round. The 2 guards are right behind you, and she's right in front of you. But it's your action.
I am going to try and manipulate the guards.
Okay, you'll have
Anything I can do, really.
You'll have to beat her manipulation. So you got 1 success on the manipulation.
That's not good. Right, here we go then. My manipulation is 3.
But you got loads of stress, so.
You got loads
I've
of
got
stress.
five stress dice. So,
8 dice. 8 dice. So you needed 2 successes.
Yeah,
No panics.
and I get no successes and no panics.
Did you want to push?
I am going to push it, and I get 1 success, no panics.
Okay, that's not good enough to beat hers, but it's going to give them pause for a moment because it's now equal. Connor, 2s.
Okay, I'm jumping up as soon as I get this message, and as I'm running out of the room to try and get there, I want to basically yell at Suvorov to tell her over comms to stand down as I'm making my way there.
Okay, yeah.
Quickly as
It's going to take you
humanly
2
possible.
rounds to get there.
Oh, I'm dead.
Tony.
I'm going to follow the commissar and run around towards the Comsen.
Okay, you do hear over the comms Suvorov saying, Renko, whatever you're doing, stand down. Don't do anything without my instruction. Sevens, it's her action.
Good man, Suvorov.
I think she's going to activate the distress beacon. And she goes over and punches the button.
Well, again,
And-
does Paul get a
But
chance
you're
to
going to have a
intercept?
key on this button. Really,
Paul,
there should be a sort of, station commander should have a key. 2 people should press the button. Sorry.
Yeah, like the nuclear
it's not a
stuff on
nuclear
Battlestar
weapon.
Galactica.
This might be an emergency. So, yeah, the emergency happens. There's one person left conscious, and he can't send the distress beacon because his arms aren't long enough. Not sure that's working out.
Head of Ops might go, put my coffee cup on this button and boom.
Well, that'll be our next thing to do after security cameras.
And
Matt.
the guards are just looking perplexed. They don't do anything because they've heard this order over the comms from Suvorov. But she has activated the distress beacon.
Didn't I get a chance to stop her?
No, because you had your action on 1s. She's on 7s.
Yeah, slow action, but there's a fast action as if it was a close combat.
No, it was her action. So your action was on
Right.
1s. Then you had Connor's. Then you had Tony's. Then you had hers.
Okay.
Did you check
yeah,
both
she-
his actions on his round? Is what?
So she steps back and looks very smug. Looks like we're getting help. Thank goodness for that.
Damn it! If I were there, I'd shoot her smug face in the head.
So
Is
Paul,
it my go again?
it is your go again.
I'm punching the fucker. Oh, no successes. Shit, I'm going to push it. One success.
One success. Okay, she goes down with that. She only had 1 point left. Do you want to roll the critical?
Oh, yes, please. That's a D66, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, saying that we don't actually want to kill her.
Oh, what am I doing? 13.
Crippling pain. Her stress level goes up by 1. You basically punched her somewhere where it really hurts. She is broken. She's doubled over, gasping. The guards kind of see that, and they do put their hands on your shoulders to stop you hitting her again. And then Blatchman and Ivanovsky arrive.
Is there a way to turn off the
It was
stress?
just a drill, surely.
Yes,
We're just
you
testing
can,
the button works.
You can turn off the distress beacon. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Well, actually, can we send a message of
Everything's fine here. How are you?
yeah, basically a false alarm sort of signal, just generally out?
Not really, but you could turn it off. It'll only have been broadcasting for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Well, if someone does suddenly start turning up, I guess we don't let them land. Tell them to piss off.
Well, if
Yeah,
they-
so
If they're UA, unless they're
Oh yeah, if they're UPP, then we'll let them down. Well, actually, will we? Because they might
well,
be
no, 'cause
treasonous UPP.
that's true.
so
they're
Renko
not-
is
They might all
Down.
get infected when they come down.
Renko is down.
That's
Super-
right.
They'll
Right.
communicate with us. The first thing they'll do is communicate with us.
Yeah, especially as we've no longer got the signal running, so they should assume that communicating before. If we had it still running, you could probably understand coming straight down.
So I think
More
seeing
so.
we've only got a couple of minutes left. I think we can probably kind of narrate to the end of this. So the signal only went out for a few seconds. If there was anybody up there, or if there is anybody up there, they didn't respond to a message that was that short. The medicine begins to work. There are
The command
Paul-
team first, of course.
Paul, roll 2d6, please, and add them together for me.
Oh,
11.
this is going to be how many people die.
So 2 people died in the dorm that was forced, that you ordered to remain locked. 11 people died from oxygen deprivation, but everybody else comes through okay, and the drugs work. And over the next few days, you administer the drugs to everybody, and those who are infected have now been cured, including all of you. You all start to show symptoms within a day or two, but the medicine.
Okay, I
deals
want to
with the
instruct
fungus.
Inspector Zhu to make a formal apology to Suvorov.
I've already apologised, but I'm
Well,
very happy to do so. That obviously
Just to make sure.
the tensions were high. We were all of us quite stressed, although I've only got one.
No, I
dice of
don't
stress.
blame you. But I think
And
it's
I will make a
wise
formal apology to him.
to
Obviously, it's
there were no hard
it's not his fault that he hired 2 lieutenants who turned out to be UA spies.
Yeah, we'll lock them up and
Do you
interrogate
wanna-
them at a later point.
Do you want to do your investigation roll? For
Yes, I
Drubov,
do.
Matthew?
I just want to get the evidence of this one. So this is observation, right?
Yes.
Which is 5 + 2 + 1 stress.
You could also do your question asking potentially. But
Well, yeah, if I succeed in my roll. I get 2 successes and a panic. And my panic is 6. So I'm
You're
holding it together.
Yeah.
So 2 questions. So first of all, are there any details here that are out of place? I'm looking for little kinks in the tube, or
It's a bit
maybe a
of a-
tiny pinprick of a syringe.
There is a syringe and a empty vial of sedative.
Quite a large dose, a
Hurriedly
lethal
dropped-
dose.
Hurriedly dropped into the sort of biohazard waste bin. And yes, it would be a lethal dose. Yeah.
That will go into the evidence bag carefully with my surgical gloves on. To make sure. Excellent. Okay, I think I've got one more question though. What happened here, Dave?
Somebody murdered Drubov with an overdose of
No,
sedative.
no. What I'm asking is, who murdered Drubov with the overdose?
Somebody with a small shoe size.
How do I see that small shoe size? Because that's exactly what Inspector Shue would spot. Clues in the name.
I think there's probably some liquid spilled on the floor, and there's a
shoe
a
size
greasy
matches
a greasy
Renko,
foot.
huh?
It's probably not too dissimilar from Renko's shoe size. Yeah.
The glove
And of
don't
course,
fit.
all the other medics are wearing PPP boots with a very different.
Yes, that
shoe
is very
shape.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got our bang to rights.
I think we'll probably call this story to a close there, gentlemen. Yeah, thank you. Good
Great
game.
success.
Well played.
Yeah, excellent. Well done.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
Only
Did you-
13 casualties.
Could have been worse.
Yeah. So
14,
Sometimes-
including Drubov.
Commissar
Oh, yeah,
Tran,
I wasn't
the
kidding.
decisions you make have to be difficult ones.
Yes.
I don't envy your position at all, but you made the right decision for the good of the whole colony.
I agree. If we hadn't made that decision, more people would have died.
In fact, only 2 people died in that room out of about 30 in there.
Well,
Did you
11
want to
died
do?
not in that room, but
Yeah, the 11 died from the oxygen deprivation.
yeah,
So
which was my call.
that was a sacrifice you had to make, Commissar.
But many survived probably as a result of that.
Yeah, but I'm imagining the people who died that weren't probably aren't too happy with the decision.
No. Yeah, cheer for you.
Just taking it aside, if any superiors aren't happy with your decision, we can always blame the LaSalle guy for not correctly following your instructions.
Yeah, but he also stopped or
Stop listening, Paul.
Yeah, to be fair, my instructions to the
Renko
little guy
to-
were extremely
Perfect.
detailed.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
And then he rolled a 1. Absolutely. We got it
Yeah,
back to
I mean,
ones.
at the same time, James Hudson did an amazing job stopping Renko and bringing it to our
Yes,
attention.
no, hero. I called him a hero of the revolution in my head, obviously knowing nothing had happened in this regard, but he is one. There is a medal for non-UPP people we can hand out. Isn't there some sort
I
of
think
honorarium?
there'll be civilian medals. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure we can think of something. Okay, guys, did you want to do in experience
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
whilst we're here? Okay, did you participate? Yes, gain a point.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yay.
Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agenda? Again, I'm going to drop that one because there aren't really personal agendas in this. Did you risk your life for your buddy or for your PC buddy?
My
Don't
PC
think
buddy's
so.
not here.
My
No,
PC
no.
buddy wasn't here.
Wasn't a lot of risking of life going on, really. Did you
I was risking
challenge
other
your-
people's
Well, not our own
lives.
lives, anyway.
Some of you may
We
die.
killed 11
but that's
people
a
to save the whole.
sacrifice.
Actually, yeah,
I was-
we risked 11 people's lives to save all of our buddies.
I mean, we missed way more than 11 people's lives. It's just only 11 people did die.
Interesting scenario where I thought at one point it's all just going to be played out with you sitting in one room.
I mean,
okay,
I don't think I left this room. Well, except at the very end.
At the end, you did, yeah.
It's a bottle episode, Commissar.
it is. It is. But for a bottle, I was thinking about that when I was preparing all the maps and thought, for a bottle episode, I'm spending fucking hours doing these maps. It's ridiculous. It's supposed to be quick and easy, but never mind. Did you challenge or stand up to your rival PC? No rival PCs really, but I think.
Well, no, actually, my rival PC is Commissar Tam Blatchman, and I did manipulate him into
It's fine. You're also my rival.
No, not really. Did you make a
I'm not
panic
sure we
roll?
really
No,
I made a panic roll, and I only got 3
did
on it.
not.
But it's still a panic roll.
Yeah, if you made a panic roll, you get a point. Did you overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means? You all get a point for that for sure. Did you make a significant discovery or revelation? Yes, you did for sure. Everyone gets a point for that. Did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind?
I reckon Paul deserves that.
I nearly got knocked out by a woman.
I'm not sure how extraordinary that is.
I'm not sure whether that's. I think actually.
And I'm only thinking about trying not to give too many XP away.
Okay.
Um,
Well, if you don't want to give too many away, then
Oh, tightwad.
yeah, he calls me tight on the XP. He's learning.
You are much to. Although I think that was the critical moment. Actually, I was wondering when somebody would say, "Where the fuck's Renko?" So yeah, Paul, take an XP for that. I think
Well, you
Connor,
could just give me a story point.
What's his personal agenda? Because what I thought was particularly interesting
I think
there.
his personal agenda is punching women. Is that it, Paul?
No. But you don't need to tell me the personal agenda. But I was very intrigued that LaSalle could benefit greatly from the UA taking over this, I imagine. And I'm pleasantly surprised. In fact, I might make Paul my new buddy now because, he stood up for the UPP.
Yeah,
in this debate.
my opinion of him has raised
You see,
significantly.
James's personal agenda is he wants a quiet life. He wanted to come out here. He's not got any particular loyalty to the UPP or LaSalle. They just pay his wages. He just wants to come to a colony, be a surveyor, which is very difficult on a planet mostly covered with water.
And generally not have to punch women, but you had to punch a woman in this case for the benefit. I think you're right. A story point, Dave. You can save on an XP and give him a story point.
Yeah, if you want a story point, Paul, you can have a story point for that, mate. Absolutely.
Thank you. That will come in next time.
Do story points apply in campaign play?
We think they do.
They do now. Yeah.
So he'll get an extra success at some point next.
Connor, I think you deserve a XP for deciding to leave those people to die.
Okay.
I think in character that's a That's actually a
Do I
pretty
deserve a point for
good
taking
comment.
his jokey suggestion and manipulating him into actually doing it? Because that's entirely my modus operandi.
But that is entirely, yeah. But no. So I think I keep meaning to revise these for this campaign, and I need to do that before next time, because I don't want to give too many XP because you then develop far too quickly. But I want to make sure I reward the right stuff. But I think we'll leave it at that for now.
Cool. I got 6, so I can not
Cool.
in this adventure. I got 3 in this adventure, but it means I can give myself.
Yeah, I've got 7 now, so I can up my command again, so I can actually, do something on the colony.
Well, what's your command?
Well, it's now 3.
Ah,
But as that's the one that's used in the
End of season, yeah.
Yeah, is it end of
Which we
season or
might
end
do
of
that.
whatever?
Yeah, the end of cycle. We might do that at the beginning of the next
that's it.
game, actually.
Yeah, so just take note. It is now 3 on top of the 4 empathy.
And I'm very impressed that you obviously worked out my bear trap very early on, and the whole thing was if you did, the UA would come down and take over on the basis that you had been invited in to help, and then they would never leave unless you forced them to. But now I just have to change the rest of the campaign now, so it's fine.
I mean,
It'll be a brutal invasion instead.
No, they're not going to do that. They're
No,
not doing that.
where the UA are. I still wanted to reconfigure some of the satellites that we've
Well,
got.
I think actually, okay. I think in
scan
between
through it.
games, so you can do a bit of work with what you've got in orbit and the remains of the ship. There, you can detect a very small geostationary satellite, a relay station, which is much more powerful, which was then rebroadcasting the transmission further into the system. So you didn't have a UA ship in orbit at all, but they were getting the messages.
There is a secret relay there, which we should put a stop to.
So I think you now know that it's there.
Right. By the way, between games, I am just, casually mentioning Renko and how easily manipulated
Suvorov was.
Suvorov was
I thought you
by
might.
these American spies. Just, I mean,
Just this
obviously
passing. as you do.
praising Suvorov to the high heavens for making all the right decisions as usual, but just bearing in mind that
And for having a
they were
really
there
good
working
right
at
hook.
that right under his nose. Yeah, and he's a great man. We're best of friends now that he's punched me. But he still
is the
did have like
typical
2, not
friendly
1, but
greeting of
2
the UPP.
spies working under him.
Cool. Right. Well, I think we should probably draw the episode to a close. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for playing, guys. It was great fun.
Yeah,
and hope
thanks,
to
Dave.
see
Again.
you all
Okay.
in 2 weeks. for the
Cheers.
next
See you
episode.
all. Cheers.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.